entire experience and making sure that we cover the right aspects of it.
Right. So I also got to be an astronaut, but I didn't get to do the next kind of critical step, which is getting inside of the capsule on top of the rocket when it's fully fueled, fully loaded, like we did during our last launch and last webcast. You were one of two. You and Gary Lai went in there. What was that like when you went in there and the hatch was closed? What is that feeling like?
Yeah, the entire tower operation of Astronaut Load was just a very sensory experience. And we walk through the sequence a couple days in advance just to rehearse everything, all of the movements. But on launch day, we got out of the cars and we're standing at the bottom of the tower, and you could hear the vehicle venting. And when you looked at it, there was frost coming off the side, like you see sometimes in movies. And it's just this overwhelming sense of this thing that is waiting to launch, and we're kind of holding it up, you know?
Right.
So there was a great sense of urgency that didn't exist on the days that we rehearsed it. And when we got up and finally ingressed and strapped into our seat, there were a lot of things. It was very mechanical because of the training that we had gone through in the simulator. And we sat down and strapped in, and it wasn't until then that you're waiting for the crew to do the checks and empty out the cabin of the various equipment that you kind of look out and you realize like how high up you are,
where you are.
Yeah, and you could feel the vehicle swaying a little bit on the launch mount, like that rocket is ready to launch. And when it closed, I remember thinking before, like, oh, I'm going to have all these clever things to say to Gary, you know, because we've worked together for so long. And, like, I couldn't think of anything. It was just like, I want to go so bad, you know? Like, can you lock the hatch from the inside?
We were wondering if you guys were going to do a little stowaway situation. Sorry, there are cameras.
I know.
Saw you.
Yep. So it was just this really rich sensory experience being in there from all angles. Yeah.
Well, so you are now head of New Shepard Flight and Mission Ops. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like this day that we're actually putting people on board and we're closing the hatch and we're keeping the people in the capsule to go to space and back? What does that feel like?
Well, we've spent, in recent weeks, we've finalized a years-long effort called our Human Flight Certification Plan. And it culminated in an extensive review, over the last month with external reviewers, and our FAA partners were involved. And it was the culmination of the entire program, years of work on this program. And I was so struck by how much work has gone into this across the years and across the disciplines. And the people in that room kind of finalizing all of these check boxes, it was just an overwhelming sense of the history that we had collected of this program. And I was before I came to this position in New Shepard, I supported New Shepard, and I knew the hard work that was going on in this program, but I have been so struck by just the professionalism and the bias for action and just the critical thinking that everyone on this program puts in. And I have been awestruck by people that I have been working with for years. I mean, I knew what great work they did, but being part of it and part of this team, I'm so honored that they wanted me in this position, and that I'm participating in this now. Yeah.
Well, Audrey, to you and to your team, to the whole Blue Origin team, thank you for all of your hard work. We cannot wait to see the launch, and Godspeed, New Shepard.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it either.
Audrey offers such great insight into New Shepard. She's also a pilot herself. Oh, and the chair of the Commercial Spaceflight Federation. She's had an incredible impact on space legislation and policy in some major ways, as well as a major impact on Blue Origin. So thank you to Audrey. She's kind of busy today, so we're very proud to have had her on stage just a couple of days ago. All right, we're at T-minus 55 minutes to go until launch. Let's go ahead and check out New Shepard as she gets ready for her flight today to space and back with our first human flight crew. Thank you, everybody, again for joining us live from West Texas for Blue Origin's first human flight. We are at T-minus 52 minutes to go until launch. Right now, our 4 astronauts are inside the Astronaut Training Center. We are waiting for them to exit, to get in the Rivians, and then we will be waiting for a go for astronaut load-in. I can already hear the helicopter above that's going to be following them on their way out. Now, that astronaut training center, what we have in that training center is basically it's a classroom, but I'd say the centerpiece of it is a beautiful crew capsule simulator. And it's a really cool simulator. Some of you may have seen in the past, we've had a mock-up that we've been able to take to various events. But the simulator that's in the astronaut training center is kind of a step above, a step beyond, because in it we are able to simulate the sounds, the vibrations, the full crew screen and alert system that we have for every single seat. And so during the training, you spend a lot of time, of course, understanding, with crew member 7, understanding the general New Shepard system, all of the procedures, ingress, egress, and getting to know the Blue Origin team. But you do spend a lot of time in that crew capsule. And as mentioned, we go through these simulations of the flights and of all sorts of different scenarios so that our astronauts feel comfortable, as we said, so they can sit back and kind of enjoy the ride, enjoy this incredible experience. They've got these huge windows right next to them. We want them to be focused on that view, focused on feeling the G's as they come on. You know, you're in these beautiful, nice, soft, reclined seats that disperse the G's. It's a wonderful experience. And that simulator, we run these scenarios, we've got full audio, we've got full vibration, and it's a really critical component of the training program, let's say. Now, we also, of course, we will take them out to the pad the day before launch. We want them to walk up the crew access tower. You'll see it's hidden a little bit in that shot there on the left there, but that is the safety shelter. So we'll see as the astronauts drive out to the pad itself, they will ascend the stairs, the set of stairs on the left. They'll take kind of a bit of a timeout in the safety shelter. The crew member 7, Kevin Sproul, will go out to the across the bridge there to the tower that's in the center of your screen. He will be working with the tower crew there, make sure everything is set and sorted to go for our astronauts. He will then go back to the safety shelter and get the astronauts and get them ingressed into the capsule. The astronauts right now, though, they are in the astronaut training center. Again, we are waiting for them to emerge shortly here. We are at T-minus 49 minutes to go until launch. Again, they are going to be entering into their Rivian trucks and heading out to the launch pad. This will be our first glimpse of the astronauts. We're going to see those shining smiles of theirs. I'm sure they're trying to contain their excitement. You know, you've got that excited energy that, of course, they are controlling themselves. Although, again, let's be honest, Wally Funk doesn't control her excitement. I'm, as I said, fully expecting her to do full somersaults and cartwheels on her way into the Rivians. And why don't we just wait here for a moment as we wait for those astronauts to emerge. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's first human flight. We are waiting for our astronauts to emerge from the Astronaut Training Center. We've got our on-the-ground correspondent, Caitlin Dietrich, who is just outside of the training center. Caitlin, what's going on out there?
So you can really feel the energy start to build now. We've just heard that everything's continuing nominally towards launch. The countdown is moving forward. We've got our helicopters in the air waiting to capture our astronauts as they take their Rivians to the launch pad. The sun's coming up. It's a beautiful morning. Our teams are going to be standing on the road, hooting and hollering as the astronauts drive by on their way to the tower. And I'm starting to get goosebumps over here, and it's a little bit emotional. But we'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll watch these Astros as they head out into their truck and on their way to space.
Fantastic. Thanks, Caitlin. We'll send it back to Caitlin in a moment here as we wait for those astronauts to emerge from the astronaut training center. You know, I'll tell you, the last thing that they do before they exit the training center is there's this special coin ceremony. It's a challenge coin that's given to each one of the astronauts for them to take in their suit up to space and back. It's a military tradition, but it really makes you feel like you are part of a team. And what a team to be part of. What a crew to be part of. Only New Shepards astronauts are going to be able to get these coins. You only get the coin if you get to go up to space and back. And these astronauts, again, have completed their training, and they are ready to become the next set of international astronauts. So again, we're waiting here for just a moment while we wait for the astronauts to emerge from the astronaut training center. We are at T-minus 46 minutes to go until launch. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's first human flight. We are at T-minus 45 minutes, and here the astronauts come. There you see Jeff Bezos in the foreground, Oliver Damon stepping into the Rivian. Crew member 7, Kevin Sprogue, there on the right. as well as Wally Funk. What a moment for her. At the age of 82, she will become the oldest astronaut to have ever flown into space. And there she is, loading into the Rivian. Wally was part of the Mercury 13 program back in the 1960s. The program to train women to go to space that ultimately was canceled, but now it is her moment. Today is an incredible day for her. All right, now we're going to be waiting for mission control to get a go for astronaut load out to the pad. That's when the Rivian will start heading out towards the pad. They're actually going to pass right behind me here. I'm certainly going to give them a wave. They then will pass mission control, get some last-minute love from our team there, as well as their families. And then they will head down the road to space to the launch pad. And we'll go for load-in. There they go, everybody. What a moment. You can probably hear our team already losing it down here. We are super excited. And there they are. High fives from everybody. What an incredible moment. They're coming over here just behind my right shoulder. A moment we've been waiting for here at Blue Origin. So much hard work has led to this moment. How exciting. Wally Funk, the Bezos brothers, Oliver Damon, our 4 crew members are heading out to the launch pad. There they go. See you guys. Oh my gosh, they are in for the flight of a lifetime. And just a couple yards to my left here, that is mission control, and here they go, passing by mission control. There you see Jeff Bezos waving to the team. They're going to hang a left there as they head down the road to space. Now, while we watch them travel down that road to space, they've got just a couple of moments. It's a long 2-mile road there. We've got a couple of moments. Why don't we meet aviation icon Wally Funk?
You're in zero gravity for 4 minutes. You come back down. We land gently on the desert surface. We open the hatch and you step outside. What's the first thing you say?
I will say, honey, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'll give you a hug. I've been flying forever, and I have 19,600 flying hours. I have taught over 3,000 people to fly, private, commercial, instrument, flight engineer, airline transport, gliding, everything that the FAA has, I've got the license for. And I can outrun you. Back in the 60s, I was in the Mercury 13 program. They asked me, do you want to be an astronaut? I said, yes. They told me that I had done better and completed the work faster than any of the guys. So I got a hold of NASA 4 times. I said, I want to become an astronaut, but nobody would take me. I didn't think that I would ever get to go up. Nothing has ever gotten in my way. They said, Wally, you're a girl, you can't do that. I said, guess what? Doesn't matter what you are. You can still do it if you want to do it. And I like to do things that nobody has ever done.
We're going to fly you up into space on the very first flight. That's your
I can't tell people that are watching how fabulous I feel to have been picked by Blue Origin to go on this trip.
You're going to be an astronaut.
Oh, finally! And I'll love every second of it. Woo! Ha ha! I can hardly wait.
We are just so thrilled and frankly honored to help Wally Funk finally realize her dream of going to space. Now, recently I was lucky enough to spend a couple of moments with her right here at the desk. Why don't we take a look? Wally, it is a pleasure to meet you. As a fellow pilot, you are an inspiration, so thank you.
You don't know how great it is to meet you, that you are a pilot. I want you to go fly more in that glider and jumping.
Oh, well,
that's great.
And hopefully follow in your footsteps and go on New Shepard one day.
Absolutely. Oh,
I mean,
yes.
So, Wally, you've waited a while to go to space. A silly question, but are you excited?
No, not at all. Of course. Since I got on the airplane and I got to fly the airplane and get here and meet all of you, this is so fantastic.
What do you, on launch day, what do you think is going to be the most exciting thing? What are you looking forward to the most?
Lift off, climb, undo, and be able to move around in the, if there's room. I want to do a lot of stuff because I've done that in other situations.
And you were just telling me a second ago, you're going to take your camera up there and you've got a postcard that you're going to take a photo with.
That is what's going to be on the window when I go up, and then I'm going to take a picture of it with the Earth behind me.
That's such a beautiful photo of you and the American flag back there in your flight suit, and that's going to be a spectacular photo. So, you know, this is probably, I imagine, your first time down here in West Texas at our launch site?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
No, I used to be in Texas and teach. I think everything's fantastic. I mean, I've been treated so well, and the food is so great. I can't believe it's coming from, I don't know, California.
Right.
And you're lucky to be here with all these friends and people and see what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, so, Wally, as I said, you've been an inspiration to me. What would you say to the next generation of young people that are out there that want to go to space?
Well, I've talked to young people all my life. How many of you girls and boys want to fly? Well, not many raise their hands. I said, well, I tell you what, get your parents to take you out and give you a flight.
Right.
That's what my parents did at 7 years old. And if you like it, you'll continue on. And if you don't, you might continue on because something's going to be in your heart that's going to want you to do that.
I cannot wait to see you go to space. Thank you for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
So yes, as you just saw, Wally Funk is the real deal. I was doing my best to contain my fangirl moment there because she, again, is an inspiration to so many people around the world, and myself included. We see here that the astronauts are starting to ascend the crew tower. There's Wally waving. She's leading the crew. Gary, welcome back. It's good to have you back here at the desk to get you to help with the play-by-play here. We just saw a moment ago that they drove around the ring road, stopped, took a photo because, of course, you know, we're memorializing this moment as best we can for these astronauts. They so deserve it. So going up the tower, we've got Wally, then it looks like Jeff Bezos, his brother Mark, and Oliver Damon. They're heading up to their rocket. Now, while we have a moment here, I do understand that Caitlin Dietrich is standing by at Mission Control. What's going on outside Mission Control, Caitlin?
Hey guys, Caitlin here. I'm with Jarrett Jones, the head of our New Glenn program here. Jarrett, how are you feeling today watching the launch here from Mission Control?
Excited, awesome, this is amazing. It's just incredible. You could only dream about this day. And you know what, Caitlin? It's not lost on me and probably many of the viewers that today is like July the 20th, the day Neil Armstrong, who also graduated from my alma mater, Boiler Up, stepped on the moon and made history. And we're doing it at New Shepard and Blue Origin. doing our first human launch, and it's just amazing. And the reason I'm excited, but also focused, is that there's quite a bit of technology transfer from New Shepard to New Glenn. Everything from the BE3 engine with the LOX and the hydrogen, all the way down to our landing gear. I mean, this is an exciting day for us, and I'm just excited. I don't want to take the spotlight away. It's about New Shepard, and I'm just very proud of this team and then Blue Origin as a whole. I mean, just amazing day, Caitlin.
Well, we like to say that New Shepard is basically the second stage of New Glenn. So you're kind of seeing the second stage fly here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. New Shepard was built and designed for scalability, and we took advantage of it in New Glenn. So it's amazing feat that we're doing, and just proud to be here. Just glad to be here, Caitlin.
So smart. It's the epitome of our step-by-step approach, as you hear us say. And I want to pan back to Mission Control. We've got a lot of our team here on the porch here. Hey, guys! Woohoo! We are so excited. We saw the astronauts fly by here just a second ago. And right in that room is some of the world's most brilliant engineers flying this rocket today. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a little bit emotional. So back to you, Ariane, and we'll see you after launch.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Thank you, Caitlin. Enjoy the launch. Jarrett Jones, enjoy the launch. Everybody out there outside of Mission Control, as well as in Mission Control, enjoy the launch. Gary, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Caitlin touched on it just a second ago, how basically New Shepard is being scaled up to New Glenn. Tell me how you've thought about that, because you're part of, obviously, New Shepard, the architect of New Shepard, but you've been part of thinking about the broader roadmap, if you will, that Blue Origin has.
That's right. New Glenn is a scaled-up version of New Shepard. It does use different main propulsion for the first stage, but the second stage of New Glenn, that engine is a derivative of the BE3 engine that's flying New Shepard today. And the techniques for vertical landing, which we perfected with the New Shepard vehicle, are going to be applied to the New Glenn vehicle. We have very high confidence that the very first launch of New Glenn will stick that landing on the ship. We would not have that confidence without the New Shepard program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Jarrett Jones, again, who leads that entire New Glenn program, he has a big job, but he's gotten a lot of help. He's kind of gotten this catapulted help from the development and now the operations and flight of New Shepard. I should note that New Glenn will also carry humans one day. We build all of our programs from the very beginning with the intent to put people on board. And talking about astronauts and people, we just saw them enter into the astronaut safety shelter. I would like to highlight one thing, which is, Wally was saying that she could outrun you. She was the first up those stairs and first in the astronaut shelter. So no lie, that Wally Funk, she's got quite a bit of energy. She's 82, but I'm convinced every time I read that it's a typo, that she's actually 28, because again, that woman. All right. Gary, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening in the shelter, because we should remind our viewers that on the last flight that we had, we basically did a full-up rehearsal of what we're doing right now. You were part of that astronaut crew that we had. What happens in the shelter?
So the shelter has two main functions. It's a shelter in case of some kind of emergency. If they need to evacuate the capsule very quickly, they can go across the bridge only about 75 feet and be in this shelter very fast. It is fireproof. It can handle a whole set of anomalies that might happen with the rocket. You see those blue tanks against the wall? The shelter has its own air breathing supply in case of a fire outside. It also has communications. They can talk directly to Capcom from there. Right now, they are just waiting for the go-ahead from the pad crew that is preparing the capsule to start astronaut load.
Fantastic. And you see there in the foreground, in the black suit, that is Kevin Sprague, our crew member 7, as well as Wally Funk, seated on the left, soon to become the oldest person to have ever flown in space. Then, going clockwise here, Oliver Damon, soon to be the youngest person to have ever flown in space at the age of 18. He comes to us from the Netherlands. A special shout out to our international viewers, especially those in the Netherlands. Hello, everybody. You should be very proud of your countrymen there. Then we have, of course, Mark Bezos, brother to Jeff Bezos, our founder, in the cowboy hat. He is a true Texan at heart. You know, we call it the ranch down here. We like to incorporate that into a lot of what we do in the spirit that we have down here at our launch site 1. All right, they are leaving the astronaut safety shelter here. Let's watch as they prepare to cross the bridge. What a moment. Jeff Bezos. Mark Bezos. Wally Funk. And Oliver Damon. Ring the ceremonial bell. Making some noise on their way to get into the crew capsule. Kevin, the crew member 7 that you see there in the black suit, he is now going to help them ingress, get into the capsule, get situated in their seats, and of course help them get buckled into their harnesses and go through any final safety checks before closing the hatch. I mean, we should note though, Gary and I have both been through the astronaut training experience. It's a 5-point harness. By the time you're done with training, you can do that upside down, backwards with your eyes closed, inside and out. I mean, you definitely understand how that works, and you're going to need to, because when we come back, when you get back into your seat from 0G, that's very important. Let's watch here as they cross the gantry, taking some final photos. We've got our photographer there, Felix Coons, a brilliant photographer who's taken those beautiful shots of the crew that we saw earlier. And there they go, into the crew capsule. Gary, do you want to talk about the hosing and the piping that you see going into the hatch?
So that is just a cabin environmental control system. While it's on the pad, before we seal the hatch, we want to make sure the air is fresh and air conditioned in there. That hose will be removed, obviously, during hatch closure. And so what they're doing now is just one by one entering the cabin and getting fastened, and then they will go through a series of comm checks with Capcom.
Fantastic. There's Wally Funk in seat number 3 there. Oliver getting situated in seat number 1. I'm starting to shake a little bit. I mean, not only, again, have we practiced this, and not only on the last flight did we have a full astronaut rehearsal like this, but it's different. We've done, again, 15 consecutive missions to get to this point. But it's so much different when you put people on board. But again, so much testing, so much design, so much thought, and incredibly well-trained Blue Origin team that's supporting these astronauts, our first crew on New Shepard. Just wonderful. We are ready for today. Now, we are standing by here for Capcom to welcome our crew into the capsule. Let's stand by for some audio there. There's our mission control. And Sarah Knights. Sarah Knights, again, she has this incredible...
I have you loud and clear, 7. How me?
Here comes Kevin. Kevin will help you out. Here it comes, Wally. I can see it's jammed in there. Don't keep pulling on it. He'll come get it.
So again, we've got Capcom Sarah Knight. She's one of our crew member 7 on the left. Our 4 astronauts are loaded into the capsule. There is Wally Funk in her seat. as well as mission control. Talk about locked and loaded. This team is really, I mean, you've been in mission control during these launches. What is that like?
So at this point in the procedure, everybody is incredibly focused. They're true professionals. They are looking at the data, they're following procedures. There's really no distraction. You can hear a pin drop in that room unless they're working an issue. And as you saw in that picture, we run a very, very tight ship here at Blue Origin and on the New Shepard program. That picture of the front room of mission control, that is all the people that are operating the rocket at this point, in terms of pushing the buttons to make things happen, in addition to the pad crew.
There you see, we've got crew member 7 that is making sure Wally's harnesses are all tight and snug there. To your point about crew, Gary, I mean, we talk about designing an autonomous vehicle that launches and lands and we reuse, but we've built also the operations to also complement that, to lower the cost of accessing to space, because that's at the heart of building this road to space. So we've built it so that it's an efficient vehicle, efficient operations.
Absolutely. So in addition to that front room, which is really just a half a dozen people and some backups to relieve them in case they need a break, there is an engineering back room right behind that room. It's the size of a small conference room, really. And it consists of engineers that are there just in case there's an anomaly that needs investigation. Mm-hmm. But you can actually see it through those back windows. That's it. That is all that is needed to launch New Shepard. We have some support staff on call in Washington State in case of an anomaly, but for the most part, that's it. And we architected it that way. So
look, we got catch. Did you say catch Wally? She was waving at you, Gary. Oh, and is that? I think that's the postcard that she promised everybody she was going to be bringing up to space with her. So not only is the crew ready, but we got the props ready. We've got the photo shoot all set up. But getting back to the crew and crew operations that we've set up, as you said, lean and mean, but also, we talked about it earlier, in addition to the safety and critical to safety are redundant systems, backup systems, backup to the backup. And, we were talking about the team that we have back in Kent. So that is part of it. It's not just in, let's say the mechanical systems, the engineering that goes into the capsule, but from an operational standpoint, we've built that in from the very beginning. Some beautiful shots there of the capsule. So the window with the white square there, that is Wally Funk. To the left, that is Mark Bezos, Jeff Bezos' brother. And in fact, to the left of him, a little harder to see off of that other window, that will be Jeff Bezos. And Oliver Damon on the other side of the hatch, he's also harnessed in, ready to go to space, ready to become the youngest person to have ever flown in space. Again, he comes from the Netherlands. So beautiful. Again, as we talked about at Blue Origin, we really want to open up this experience to the world, and it's so wonderful that he is not just representing the next generation, but also more flags as we fly to space. Standing by here from Capcom.
New Shepard, this is Blue Origin Mission Control. Good morning, astronauts, and welcome aboard the RSS First Step. Let's get things started with the comm check. Astronaut Oliver, how do you read?
Blue Control, astronaut Oliver, loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Wally, how do you read me?
Wally, push the button and answer. Push the button until you can hear good. Wally, loud and clear.
Copy, Astronaut Wally. Astronaut Demo.
Blue Control, this is Astronaut Demo. I have you loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Bezos.
Blue Control, Bezos. I read you loud and clear. Thanks for everything, Sarah. We appreciate it.
It's my honor and my pleasure. All right, astronauts, we are at T-minus 21 minutes and counting. As we proceed, I'll keep you updated. For now, just sit back and relax.
Fantastic, and there you heard it. All 4 astronauts are ready to go to space. They just had a quick comms check with Sarah Knight on Capcom, one of our crew member 7 there. You heard all 4 astronauts are jazzed. You know, Wally there was, I'm sure she's a bit distracted again. We've said this before. She has waited over 60 years from the days that she was part of the Mercury 13 program to go to space. That program to get women into space was canceled. But you know what? She is canceled no more, everybody. She is going to space. Such an honor to be able to help her realize this dream of going to space after so long. What a moment, what a woman that that really personifies perseverance and pushing through it. All right, and here we go. We are closing the hatch. Gary, do you want to talk a little about what happens when you close the hatch? Obviously, it's a pressurized vehicle. What does that mean with regards to closing the hatch there?
So the hatch has a double seal on it. There are 2 sets of seals. So what they're going to do when they close the hatch to make sure it is properly sealed is they're actually going to pull a vacuum in between both of those seals and make sure that vacuum doesn't decay. And that checks the integrity of both seals.
Fantastic. Now, I understand that we've got Caitlin Dietrich again on the ground. We've got an update from her. Caitlin, what's going on? She's almost ready. So let's hold off on just a moment for our update from Caitlin Dietrich. In the meantime, let's watch here as the tower crew continues to close the hatch, make sure that the pressure seals are all ready to go. There we see Mark Bezos giving the thumbs up. There's Jeff in the background waving. What an experience to do with your siblings, your best friend. What a day for this 4 crew. Gary, you we mentioned again that you have gone through the astronaut experience. You went through it. Actually, here we go. I think we've got Caitlin. Just a moment, Gary. Hold that thought. Caitlin, what's going on out there at Mission Control?
Hey everyone, so basically we've actually left Mission Control, the porch, and now we're at what we call Fallback 3. It's on basically the entrance to the road to space. And right here is where the astronauts drove by. They went all the way to the tower. You can probably see it there in the very distance. Here we just closed the hatch and everything's looking nominal. And basically what's going to happen is once the capsule is under parachutes, we have a convoy here right behind us that's going to be racing out to get that hatch open and celebrate after their victorious flight to space. So that's what we're all preparing for here after their 11-minute flight. So we're pretty excited.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for that update. Gary, so you, as we were just closing out that question, so on the last one, you actually were in the capsule, right? You and Audrey Powers, who we talked to a little bit earlier in the show, were in the capsule when they closed the hatch. What does it feel like at this moment?
It's actually quite tranquil. After the excitement and all the helicopters and ingressing and that adrenaline, you have a moment in the capsule now to reflect when the hatch is closed. It's actually pretty quiet. You've got hearing protection in just in case. You can still hear Capcom, but you have a moment to reflect. The fact that you're seated, reclined in a seat next to a window, directly next to a window that is so big, you can just turn your head and feel like you're floating right on the edge of the rocket. And then we've designed it that way so that when you're actually in space, you don't have to turn your head. You can look right out and have the sensation of actually being outside.
And it also kind of adds to the voluminous feel of the capsule. We said earlier it's 10 times the volume that Alan Shepard had on his flight, but it is big, and the windows make it look big. That light acoustic padding make it look big, and then once you're floating up there in space over the Kármán line in 0G, it kind of adds a third dimension to it.
Yes, we wanted that spaciousness. We wanted that sensation of floating. Really, if we were able to do it, we would have made the entire capsule transparent.
That is kind of a cool idea. Is that for the next iteration? You working on that? Is that in secret? All right, we're not going to release that information on our webcast, but stay tuned, everybody. All right, we're going to toss it back to Capcom. I understand that we've got a special message from Christina Bezos, sister to Jeff and Mark Bezos.
First up, Blue Control. On that note, Jeff and Mark, I have a special message from you from your sister Christina. Steve and I are so excited for this monumental launch. Jeff, this is something you've dreamed of your whole life, and your passion for space is infectious. Mark, you're the best champion when it comes to encouraging us in our adventures. As you buckle in, I'm reminded of when Jeff was Captain Kirk, Mark, you were Sulu, and I took the role of Lieutenant Uhura. We would battle Klingons while firing torpedoes, all the while dodging in and out of traffic and praying that we make it to our destination safely. Mark, be prepared to fire those torpedoes if ordered to do so. Now hurry up and get your asses back down here so I can give you a huge hug. We love you, and Godspeed, New Shepard.
And there it is. Beautiful message from Christina. There is our Kent headquarters going nuts as they should. A big day for our whole Blue Origin team. It's early out there on the West Coast, but they wouldn't miss it for the world. Look at them. So amazing. Again, what a day for the entire Blue Origin team, for these crew members that are on board, for their families that are here, that have been supporting each one of these people's dreams to go to space. Just incredible. And, you know, we are sitting here at T-minus 15 minutes to go until launch. We are in a brief hold here, but why don't we meet Oliver Damon, one of those astronauts, again, our first, very, very first paying customer, and soon to be the youngest person to travel to space at 18. Let's see Oliver.
I think it's the ultimate dream for so many people to go to space. I guess my first memories of space were Thunderbirds. I was a big fan of that. Watched every single episode there was. That was like the big thing with like the rockets and everything.
Oliver, is this your first look at the vehicle?
Yeah. It's so cool to go with this crew because Wally is like one of the best pilots ever and has such an amazing life story. Of course, Jeff is one of the best businessmen ever and a great visionary. And Mark is a firefighter and has such an amazing track record over his life. I feel a responsibility because I'm the youngest in space, and to get more people interested in space, and not even just space, but science, would be such an opportunity for me to do. When I touch down and I get out of the vehicle, I think I'll be just speechless.
Now, Oliver also has his pilot's license and will be studying physics in college, and in just a bit he'll officially be an astronaut. But Gary, did you talk to Oliver?
I did. I had an opportunity to meet him.
Did you start recruiting? Did you get on that? What are you doing sitting here? Come on, man. We were like that guy not only is going to study physics but also innovation. So we can only imagine what is in store for Oliver in the years to come. But I can tell you what is in store for him in the next couple of minutes here. He is going to go to space over the Kármán line, up 100 kilometers up the internationally recognized line of space, and he is going to come back a freshly minted astronaut. Cannot wait for that. Now, we are at T-minus 15 minutes to go until launch. We are in a brief hold here. And while we're in a hold, why don't we turn it over to New Shepard and watch the rocket as she gets ready to take these 4 astronauts to space and back. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas. We are here at T-minus 15 minutes to go until launch. We are in a brief hold. We've got our astronauts that are loaded into the capsule. You saw there just a moment ago, we had Oliver Damon on the left, in the left window. To the right of the hatch is our founder, Jeff Bezos. Coming around him is Mark Bezos, and on the opposite side of the capsule is Wally Funk. And again, we're just here in a brief hold, but while we have a moment, let's throw it back to the pad and catch out some of those shots of our astronauts as they get ready for their flight to space and back this morning. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas for New Shepard's first human flight. We are at T-minus 15 minutes. We are in a brief hold here. This is okay. I mean, to say, Gary, you can appreciate this. We spent years designing this rocket, months and months designing the mission. And if we need to take a couple of minutes more to make sure that the team is aligned, that we're all set and sorted, that our astronauts are happy, that the weather both on the ground and up aloft is within green zones, then we're going to do that. How do you guys think about holds when you're in mission control? What is happening right now?
There's really two kinds of holds. There might be a hold while they investigate an anomaly, and very often that is not the case, though. There are sometimes holds just to catch up in the timeline. The thing about New Shepard that's distinct from orbital vehicles that you might have seen is that we don't need to launch at a precise time to meet some launch window because we're trying to intercept something in space. We have a lot of time. We can take our time. It's better to pause and hold if there's any reason to, if there's a sensor reading that you want to investigate or you just want to catch up in time. So that's why we tend to take these holds. Otherwise, we bias to launching as soon as possible so we don't otherwise have a lot of buffer in the normal count.
Absolutely. So again, well, actually, now I understand. The hold is lifted.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that we have gotten the timelines all aligned, our teams are all sorted, and we are continuing our countdown. While we have a moment here, again, let's throw it back to the pad, check out our astronauts in the capsule as they get ready for their launch to space and back this morning. All right, everybody, we are at T-minus 14 minutes and 5 seconds to go until launch here. Got goosebumps going already. Again, the adrenaline is building and the energy is building up here as the clock ticks down. And while our astronauts and our teams are going through the final checks with our crew member 7 and the launch team, let's talk about seeing Earth from space and how it changes you. And we're very fortunate here at Blue Origin to have several NASA astronauts that are working with us. And they've logged hundreds of hours in space, and they offer a keen perspective on what our first human flight astronauts are just minutes away from experiencing.
I find it's very interesting that people can look at a picture of Earth taken by an astronaut, but they don't get that change inside that actually being there in space gives you. It is one of those things that you kind of have to do.
The perspective from space is a really fantastic one. You can see things that you never thought you'd see from Earth.
It really can't help but change your life. It changes your perspective. Having that kind of an experience makes you feel smaller.
You really do come back with a sense that the Earth is a closed environment. Everything we have here to eat, breathe, drink, it's all traveling together.
And looking at the blackness of space and looking at the surface of the Earth and seeing that almost nothing separates those two. All of humankind is on this one small rock, protected by this thin, fragile little layer of air.
It makes you realize that the planet is, in fact, a giant spaceship traveling through space that's home to 7 billion of us. And I think every astronaut who goes to space is changed by it in some way.
They've actually documented a change in core values in almost all astronauts from before the flight to after the flight. And as millions and millions of people begin to get this experience, I think the knowledge on Earth and a different understanding about our planet will gradually occur. The experience of something that changes who you are on the inside, it's very powerful. It is so memorable and so unique that people walk away speechless.
Incredible stuff. I hope one day I get to experience that, and I know obviously the 4 people that are on top of that rocket are about to do that. Gary, do you want to talk to us a little bit about today's flight profile, how they're getting up to space over the Kármán line and back home down here to West Texas?
Absolutely. So T-0 is the time that we...
Actually, Gary, if you don't mind standing by, I understand that we are ready for our go, no-go poll.
No. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence similar count.
Wilco flight.
Controller, strap UHF voice.
Enabling onboard power.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us again. Sorry about that. So we got so caught up in the flight profile and the perspectives from our NASA astronauts. We just caught the tail end there of the go no go poll. But I'm hearing that we're looking good for flight today. So let's get back into that flight profile, Gary, that you were telling us about here. Again, how are they getting up to space, over the Kármán line, the internationally recognized line of space, and then back down here to Earth in West Texas?
Okay, so T-0 is actually not the point of liftoff. It's when we send the command to start the engine. It lifts off about 7 seconds later. It will ascend for about 2.5 minutes. And then shut off. It goes through what we call MECO, main engine cutoff. About 20 seconds after that, the capsule will separate, and that's when the fasten seatbelt light on their panels will turn off, and they'll be able to float around the capsule for 3 to 4 minutes. During that time, both vehicles are still ascending, and they will ascend above 100 kilometers. The Kármán line today, we're headed for about 105, 106 kilometers. And then start their descent. The capsule, the booster will actually re-enter first. It's more aerodynamic. Before it hits the atmosphere, it deploys wedge fins on top to stabilize it, and then uses those aft fins to steer back over the pad. Just over the pad, about 20,000 feet above, it deploys drag brakes to slow itself down, and then restarts its engines just seconds before hitting the ground to slow itself down to a soft landing. The landing legs will come out just seconds before landing. It might do 1 or 2 maneuvers to make sure that it's over that pad, and then it will touch down softly. Meanwhile, the capsule will continue its flight. The astronauts will strap back in before hitting the atmosphere, get back in their seats. There'll be thrusters that will stabilize the capsule just to prevent it from rocking too much, and then parachutes will deploy about 10,000 feet above the ground. First drogues will fire, and those will extract the mains. And then finally, a landing will occur on a cushion of air, which will fire just about 6 feet off the ground.
Fantastic, and you know, we've mentioned this before on previous webcasts that the dirt down here, it's like talcum powder. It goes everywhere, and so when we have that air cushion that fires, it really kicks up the dust. But again, they're coming in at just about 1 or 2 miles an hour. It's a really nice, soft landing. And again, Gary, we confirmed we are go for launch for first human flight on New Shepard. My goodness, I mean, you've been waiting for this day for 17 years since you joined Blue Origin. What are you feeling right now, Gary?
It's still hard to believe that it's actually here. I don't know if it's set in yet, but the main thing I'm feeling is I'm thinking about the entire team, past and present, the hundreds and hundreds of people that have worked on the New Shepard program, and what this must mean to them.
Absolutely. It's you know, we talked about the team here. It's a lean and mean team, obviously, but each one of those people has contributed so much to this program. It's again, a special shout out to all of our Blue Origin team members watching around the world. Now, for the others that are watching around the world, if you want to experience space flight for yourself, if you want to do what Jeff and Mark and Wally and Oliver are doing today, and you're serious about it, send us an email at astronauts@blueorigin.com. We're open for ticket sales to send you all to space. What just an incredible, incredible day. And you know, we're so lucky to have this particular crew on board today, Gary. And I feel like, you know, not only do we have this beautiful story about the Bezos brothers that are going up, and Wally and Oliver, soon to be the oldest and the youngest astronauts who have ever flown into space. Oliver, that's representing our international friends out there, taking the Dutch flag to space, you know, and then again, Wally, who has been thinking about going to space, well, her entire life, but certainly since the 1960s, and she was part of that program that got canceled, and she just kept fighting until recently we said, hey, Wally, why don't you join us for this first crew? And I can only imagine our future customers that are going to go on board. They're going to represent the world. They're going to represent many different backgrounds, and we certainly look forward to that. As we mentioned, we're going to have 2 more flights in 2021 for a total of 3, and again, many more to come in the future. And that is just fantastic. And I can imagine, again, as you were building the system, Gary, as you were thinking about, okay, this is not just a 1 or 2 flight, you know, operation with New Shepard. You've built it for a long-term program.
We've built it to continue indefinitely and to take hundreds and hundreds of astronauts in the future. We hope to be into the thousands soon.
And just think about that, right? There have only been about 560, 570 people that have ever been over the Kármán line, up 100 kilometers up over the internationally recognized line of space. And today we're going to add 4 more to that list, which is so cool.
Yes, and someday in the near future, we will be over 570 just on the New Shepard program.
Can you imagine? Are you going to go up?
Absolutely.
You going to go up with me?
Sure.
You in, man? All right. Awesome. Okay, we are T-minus 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go until launch. What an incredible moment. Let's check out New Shepard on the pad here. We are awaiting the rocket is going to go into some last-minute checks on the vehicle. At T-minus 2 minutes is when the vehicle, we throw the show over to her. It's all on her. It's an autonomous vehicle. But Gary, do you want to talk to us about what are some of those last-minute checks that the vehicle is going through, and that we're going to see especially on our screen?
Right. So as you mentioned, the last 2 minutes are auto sequence, and that is executed entirely by the vehicle itself through an automated checklist. You'll see a couple of things. There will be things that you don't see. such as sensor checks, pressure checks on the tanks, radio checks, hundreds and hundreds of different checks will be stepped through in this checklist. But what you will see is the hydraulic system spooling up, which will wiggle the engine gimbal as well as the aft fins. They're not only wiggling those surfaces, but they're making sure that there's no stiction and they travel smoothly.
Fantastic, and again, we are waiting to see that. You'll be able to see, as Gary said, you don't get to see all of those last-minute checks, but we certainly get to see the aft fins. As Gary mentioned, those are the fins at the base of the vehicle. There are 4 of those. Obviously, they help direct the rocket, both up and down. And then the engine will gimbal. That is our BE-3 engine, the Blue Engine 3, 110,000 pounds of thrust. Liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen are what are the propellants in the engine. It's not only a powerful and also throttleable engine. I'll talk about the throttleability just here for a second. We throttle the engine back as it comes back to land, and that's what creates a nice soft landing, because as it comes in, of course, it's not filled with all the propellant that it had on the way back up. So if we throttle it back, kind of like an airplane, it comes in for a nice, soft landing. And you know, what a trip to space and back. Again, this vehicle, we've had 15 successful flights on. Again, we're looking forward to this 16th one, of course, a very special one with people on board today. T-minus 2 minutes, there we go.
Bridge is retracting.
The bridge is retracting. There's Oliver on the left, Jeff Bezos on the right. We are about to go to space, everybody.
We are in auto sequence. Ariane, when that engine gimbal check occurs and that engine swings, they should actually be able to feel it in the cabin, because it'll sway the stack back and forth.
There go the aft fin checks. There you see the engine gimbal check just peeking out at the base of the rocket. All right, here we go, everybody. Thousands of people contributed years to this historic moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Blue Origin's first human flight. Godspeed, first crew of New Shepard. Let's light this candle.
T-minus 16, guidance internal. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff. New Shepard's cleared the tower.
And New Shepard has cleared the tower on our way to space with our first human crew. Go, Jeff. Go, Mark. Go, Wally. Go, Oliver. You are going to space. Oh my goodness, listen to the roar of the BE-3 engine. We are just about to pass through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. That is when the stresses on the vehicle are at their maximum.
Max Q.
Max Q is confirmed. Beautiful burn on that BE-3 engine. Liquid hydrogen.
Mach 1.
And liquid oxygen as the propellant. It's a nice, not just clean in terms of beautifully performing, but what comes out of it, it's steam, right? whew, to see the glow of the engine underneath the rocket, just under our shoulders, and to know that we've got a crew that is going to space. It just feels different, doesn't it, Gary?
It is totally different.
All right, you can follow along, of course, the speedometer in the bottom left, the altimeter in the middle of the screen there. So far appears to be a nominal flight. All right, coming up here on MECO, main engine cutoff. That will be followed shortly by separation. And at that point, after separation, we're gonna let the astronauts unbuckle and take in the freedoms of zero G. There is MECO, main engine cutoff. A beautiful shot down the New Shepard rocket. Look at that view. Unreal. Awaiting separation here. And here we are. You can start to see, stand by. You're going to see the separation of the capsule from the booster itself.
So you have to look out the window. Holy kid God. Oh, wow. Don't forget to get upside down.
And there we go. Our astronauts have passed the Kármán line at about 328,000 feet, continuing their ascent. You see the two vehicles there. When the speed hits zero, you know that they've hit apogee, their maximum altitude, and you hear they're having quite an experience.
All my instincts are fine. Okay, I'm gonna start back. Okay. Yep. Got it. You just have to wait for it. You want the skittle. Oh, yeah. Well done.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Oh, sorry. It's right there. So good. Get that one? Got it. Let's see if I can see the boost. Yeah. Little bit. I cannot. Oh, wow. You got to take the moment to do that. Okay, get in. We got to get in. Roll.
Oh, fantastic. Look at this. It's dark up here.
Oh, wow.
2,000 miles an hour.
Everybody in?
First step, status check. Astronaut Oliver.
Oh, wow. Oliver, status check. Oh, sorry.
Blue Control, Oliver, status perfect. In seat.
Copy, astronaut Wally.
Wally.
Blue Control, Wally is in seat.
Copy, astronaut Demo.
Astronaut demo, in my seat.
Copy, astronaut Bezos. Copy.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for our first human flight on New Shepard. So far, a nominal flight. Our booster is about to return to its landing pad. There we see engine relights. The sonic boom. And booster touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard. A beautiful rocket that provided a beautiful flight to space.
First up, your booster has landed.
Booster landed. Blue Control, Bezos, that's great to hear about the booster.
And there it is, our crew capsule with our 4 crew members on board.
You have a very happy crew up here, I want you to know. Oh yeah, I see blue. I see the big barn.
Stand by drogues. Stand by drogues. Stand by main. Stand by main.
Oh, so far, a nominal flight. Here comes the crew capsule back from space. The drogues deployed. Here are the mains out, reefing and coming to full inflation. Our rocket went over Mach 3, and now they're coming floating back down at just about 15 or 16 miles an hour, about to join us home. Back here in West Texas, after having gone over the Kármán line, the internationally recognized line of space, the world's newest astronauts. Gary, how you holding up, friend?
I am speechless.
Wow. And those big, beautiful windows.
We've just got about a minute and a half of floating before the activation of the skirt jet for a soft touchdown. At this point, there are sensors on board that are detecting how high they are above the ground, multiple sensors. And just 6 feet above the ground, that cushion of air will puff, and they will have a soft touchdown, almost like just sitting in a chair. But I'm sure their adrenaline is pumping now.
And touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard's first human crew. What a flight.
Welcome back to Earth, first step. Congratulations to all of you.
Ah, what a day, what a day.
Very happy group of people on this capsule. We're so grateful to everybody who made this possible. Thank you.
Blue Control, Oliver, thank you so much for everyone there. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Copy, first step. You have a very happy Capcom here as well. Let's do a status check. Astronaut Oliver.
Blue Control, Astronaut Oliver, status correct.
Copy. Astronaut. Copy. Astronaut Demo.
Astronaut Demo, I am unbelievably good.
Copy.
Blue Control, Bezos, best day ever.
Copy, everyone. Go ahead and remain in your seats. Crew member 7 is on their way. Shortly, you will hear the capsule off-gassing.
Did anybody have to or altitude or altitude? I didn't. We asked. No, they thought they did. Yeah, we'll find out. It's okay. I had my main mission was accomplished. I didn't kick anyone. That's fine. That was only about 5 minutes. Yep.
First up, Blue Control, your apogee was 351,210 feet.
Blue Control, please say that in meters.
That was incredible. That was Wally, that was incredible. It was. I was thinking for sure it wasn't. No, I was the helicopters. I was surprised at how easy zero-G was. Yeah. It felt very, like, remarkably natural. It did. It's like swimming. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, it's weird. It actually feels good. It felt... There it goes.
Well, what a day. You can see the world's newest minted astronauts there on board discussing their incredible flight of a lifetime up to space and back. Wow. Our team is now preparing landing safety operations. The recovery crew has already, minutes ago, has left the barn there to go open the hatch. You can see them there. They're arriving at the capsule in the Rivians. You can actually also see that the parachutes fell very close to the capsule. It means that there's not much wind out there. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. Not too shabby, Gary. What do you think?
No, it was picture perfect. And it sounds like it landed pretty much exactly where we predicted. That's how they can get to it so quickly. They start moving even before it landed based on the prediction of landing. We use weather balloons that we launched throughout the morning, and that gives us a very good idea of where it will land, which is within 1,000 feet. What you're seeing that they're doing right now is Kevin Sprague, crew member 7, is just making sure everybody is okay and gives them a thumbs up. They're also grounding the vehicle. When you go into space, you could accumulate pretty significant electric charge. That's actually why we prefer that the astronauts not get out themselves, so that we can ground the vehicle of static charge, which can be quite strong.
Excellent, and I think there that Kevin Sprague, our crew member 7, has given the thumbs up for all of our astronauts that are on board there. Again, Jeff Bezos, Mark Bezos, Wally Funk, and Oliver Damon. What an incredible day. You heard them on the audio. Best day ever. I mean, I feel like this is our best day ever, and we didn't even get to go up to space. I mean, what a day. Again, congratulations to the entire Blue team, our astronaut crew, and of course the friends and family of these incredible astronauts. They're just about to exit the capsule here. Let's wait for that moment. There you see Jeff in the window.
Oh, there you are.
Felix is up here. All right, guys, what we'll do later.
I got a main line in front of the hatch.
Hey, the main parachute line in front of the hatch. Jeff!
Okay, take the side, take the side. Help on the bush.
They're just moving one of the main parachute lines to make sure it doesn't snag the hatch when it opens.
And there's Jeff. Thumbs up.
CC safe, Jimmy.
You heard there, the CC is safe.
No, I got stuff. No, I still had open for my side.
Confirm. Okay, go. You can go live. Go to the camera.
Jimmy! Jimmy!
Gary, the architect of New Shepard, congratulations to you, man.
Congratulations.
Give me a
to you,
hug.
Ariane.
This is just, ugh. What a day. Again, thank you everybody for joining us live for our first human flight of New Shepard. Our 4 astronauts went to space and back, topping over 350,000 feet, well over 100 kilometers. They've come back down safely. We're just waiting here for egress. Our crew is going to get out of the capsule and meet their families back here on the ground. Of course, their families that have provided so much support since they were little kids and dreamt of this to this day and this moment.
Let me know when everybody's there.
Mar and Mary. Get in here, Mar.
All right, Caitlin, you ready? Family, are we ready?
What a day again here, a successful launch and landing of the New Shepard rocket and crew capsule with our first human flight crew there, Jeff Bezos, Mark Bezos, Oliver Damon, and Wally Funk. And their families there giving big hugs all around. What a moment, so much emotion from all of them. The elation. Did you see Wally? Did you see Wally when she came out? You know this. I told you she was probably going to do a summer, cartwheel as she came out of that capsule. What an incredible, incredible day. Let's just capture a couple more moments of this. Again, space flight. So much engineering, so much objective, hard engineering, technical thought that goes into it. But when you put people on board, there's such an incredible emotional component to this. The time, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, you know this better than anybody else. Again, congratulations, Gary.
Thank you, Ariane. And congratulations to the entire Blue Origin team. This might have looked easy today. It was anything but easy. To design a vehicle like this that is so safe that anybody can get on board.
From Wally Funk, who today became the world's oldest astronaut at 82, to Oliver Damon, who became the world's youngest astronaut at 18. He joins us from the Netherlands. Again, big shout out to our viewers in the Netherlands. Congratulations. You should be very, very, very proud of your countrymen. I mean, again, and representing the next generation of people that are going to go into space. I mean, I can't wait to see what Oliver does with his future. I can only imagine. You heard him in the video. You know, he just wants to spread the love, spread the message. I can't wait to hear their impressions of the view from up there. And in fact, I hear in just a moment we hope to be getting a couple of impressions from our astronauts. We'll stand by for that there. You see the friends, the family. You see our CEO, Bob Smith, there. You see a couple of our other executives, of course, this crew safety team.
Champagne.
And it's champagne time, everybody.
It's the only proper way to end the space flight.
Exactly, only proper way to end a space flight with a champagne shower. And man, that is, let me just tell you, that is the beginning of the celebrations. There is a lot more to come. We are, again, not just the crew and the families, but everybody at Blue Origin who has made the historic day possible. Oh, there's a big hug from Jeff to Wally Funk.
Oldest person in space, you.
A beautiful moment there.
Thank you.
For a woman who was denied her opportunity to go to space in the 60s, she had to wait to the 2020s, but man, it was worth the wait. There you see the Bezos brothers hugging it out. Oliver Damon, you saw him earlier giving his father a big hug. What a moment. You saw the first hug when Jeff came out of the capsule to his mother, Jackie, followed by his father, Mike. I mean, again, what a day. What a day. To the thousands and thousands of members of Team Blue, you contributed to today as well. I know you were all hugging it out back in Kent, Washington at our headquarters near Seattle, sending you guys a lot of love from down here in West Texas. What a moment.
I imagine. Look at this girl.
I mean, granted, you know, Gary, we weren't in the capsule, but my favorite part was hearing, you know, the hooting and hollering and the laughing. You know, Jeff is known for his big boisterous laugh. I mean, he's having the moment of a lifetime here, and you can only imagine as they were floating around up there. You saw them say, hey, gosh, look at the views. Gary, is this as you had expected it? 17 years ago when you joined Blue Origin, you know, we like to we like to, you know, start at the end goal, work backwards to make the design, and then build forwards. When you sat there 17 years ago with the very small team at the time at Blue, is this what you would imagine?
It's certainly what we hoped for, but with the size of the team, when I joined Blue Origin, there were only 20 of us in a warehouse, and it would have taken a huge leap of faith to think that we could have gotten to this point, but we have.
Just incredible. You know, I've been here 7 years. We were at 300, so man, you got me beat by a lot there. But you know, I can remember when I joined the team, and we were talking about the moment, the day that we were going to fly people. You know, you talk about it, but it's here and it's now. And I remember we were talking about, okay, well, what will this video look like, and what will that video look like? It doesn't compare. It doesn't matter. This is real. This is so much better than anything that we could have ever imagined. The emotional component to human space flight. We've had 15 consecutive test flights, which, as you said earlier, is why we knew that we were ready to put people on board this rocket. And that's what led us to today. To know that we could do this safely, and to give people the experience of a lifetime. And I think based on what we see there, I think you know, job well done, sir. Job well done.
And not only did we do it today, we can do it again and again and again and again.
Precisely. Absolutely love it. That was amazing. Everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us from around the world for today's Blue Origin historic first human flight. It's been a moment for the ages, and guess what? We're just getting started. We've got 2 more flights this year and several more in the coming years. I want you to join us a little bit later today. We're going to have a live press conference on our website. You're going to get to hear the firsthand impressions from our 4 astronauts that went to space and back. But to all of you out there, if you like what you saw and you are serious and interested about reserving your seat on a future rocket ride to space and back with New Shepard, we've got some exciting news for you. We are open for ticket sales. Send us an email, astronauts@blueorigin.com. We can't wait to fly to space and back. Gary, it has been an honor to share the desk with you today, the architect of New Shepard. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and all the hard work of your team that has made today possible.
Thank you, Ariane. It was unforgettable.
Absolutely. The road to space is being built, everybody, and we took a huge step today. But we also need your help. If you're interested in learning more about Blue Origin or joining our extraordinary team, please visit our website. And if you'd like to commemorate today's historic launch, we also have some mission patches for you there. And that's also where you can get some apparel, some collectible gear. It is all there. Look at that sweet patch. So beautiful with the names of our new astronauts. What a day. Everybody, my name is Ariane Cornell. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be your host. And of course, until our next launch, Gradatum Ferociter.